So I finished Assassin's Creed Mirage and everything in it, and there are many things I wish somebody would have told me earlier. Whether you want to have an easier time finding the best loot, deal with enemies, or get rich quick, here are 10 of the biggest tips and tricks every beginner should know. Also, make sure to hit that like button if you find this useful, it helps the channel out, so let's dive right in. Now, whether you want to hire mercenaries to fight for you, groups of merchants to sneak you in locations, or musicians to cause distractions, you will absolutely need favor tokens. And one of the best ways is to just straight up steal them from random citizens walking down the street. Virtually everybody in the city has a pouch of valuables that you can easily spot with your eagle vision, and they oftentimes contain valuables that you can also sell on the side, but even more times these favor tokens on top. So you will have to press the button at the right moment, otherwise risk alerting your victim and thus getting the guards involved, which is something that you really don't want to, so definitely nail down that minigame. Also, later on, you can invest in the Pickpocket Master perk and have the time window needed to press the interaction button extended, making it much easier to steal even from the most alert of NPCs. Another thing you want to do is to take the contracts, as these provide even more tokens, but also extra skill points, crafting mats, and on a few occasions, unique outfits as well. You can find them all back at any of the Hidden Ones hideouts in the city, and they usually involve eliminating a target or assisting an ally. But also pay attention to the bonus objectives, as they usually double the amount of rewards that you get. So if you go completely undetected or without taking any damage from enemies, you will also secure these bonus rewards on top. Plus, they only take a few minutes to complete most of the time, and you can easily repeat them as often as you want to, as new contracts constantly appear as you finish the previous ones. But another returning tip from previous Assassin's Creed games is dealing with the barred doors. Many times you will spot areas with treasures inside, only to get prompted with the message that the door ahead can only be opened from the other side. But almost every single time there's a breakable window or gap onto the other side that will let you aim your throwing knives at the support blocking that door in the first place. So once you do that, aim, take it down, and you can simply head over back and then open it as usual to get the chests inside. A few other tips I have for you here also involve photo mode. This gives you unrestricted flight mode so that you can easily use it to check for any open windows nearby or hints to ways to get inside various structures. Also, many of these structures are openable via explosive pods, especially those see-through walls and ceilings that you can easily spot from far away. That is why you'll want to look around and have them broken that way. Also, pay attention to the windows, many of them can be broken, and an easy way to see them is to either highlight them via the eagle vision or just to aim with your throwing daggers. Usually it's going to auto-track to any destroyable part. But at number 4, combat related, an assassin works best from the shadows, so nighttime is one of the best times to infiltrate outposts and even take down enemies without being noticed. There are benches almost everywhere that you can use both to blend in but also to pass time until dawn. So definitely do that, because enemy vision is greatly reduced when dark settles, making it easier for you to just go in unrestricted. But don't always assassinate out in the open. This leaves too many bodies and evidence behind. It's much more efficient instead to hide inside a closet or a haystack and just whistle to have a guard come over to investigate. This lets you immediately drag them in with a clean and efficient assassination that will erase them pretty much from existence. Heck, you can even do this repeatedly as long as there are enemies, as the AI is too dumb to ever adapt to the situation. Another tip I have for you here is that if all of this fails or you just want a bit more carnage instead, you can just use your environment to deal with your enemies. Guards in the city work in very unsafe conditions, so always look out if they happen to sit near one of these explosive oil containers. They can easily be triggered and basically one-shot entire groups of enemies. Or the hanging weights and other things dangling over their heads can easily be broken using your throwing knives to have them fall on unsuspecting targets, and again, just one-shotting them. But if you want to be super cool and really pull some tricks off while at it, your assassin's focus, which you can use if you have at least one focus bar filled, can be used to teleport you to high and inaccessible places in an instant. There are many rooftops guarded by archers that you can easily reach this way, or just annoying places with spikes that will prevent any climbing, so this can be an incredible and efficient way to reach them without wasting any time. Now, if you somehow still manage to get into a fighting situation, then the combat simplicity from the first couple of Assassin's Creed games is kinda back. So L1 is an amazing parry, and pretty much almost any attack except the red ones can be parried, leaving most enemies open to a quick finisher after. So you can just stay in one spot, do continuous parries, take down everything until like everybody's gone, and then you can just move on in case something bad happens. But moving on, AC Mirage also adds back social stealth, which I found to be very useful. You can hire groups of merchants and then have them escort you past gates and other guarded control points, letting you slip past any guard patrol very easily. But you can also use it to scout or spy on your target, even slip through as you make your escape in case you've already been spotted. Or even more so, if you want to get close to a target and do a quick assassination, you can always just use the crowds at your advantage. And there are many other such moments when you have to complete objectives in heavily guarded zones, but taking advantage of big crowds will help you a ton with that. This also brings us to the notoriety system. If you have done all of this and still somehow managed to get into trouble, then you should know a few key things about the wanted level. So if you commit crimes and regular citizens see you, this will increase your wanted level, and you really don't want to do that. So always commit your crimes out of regular citizens' sight. However, when you do get spotted, you will start seeing these wanted posters with your face all over town starting to appear, so you will always want to go ahead, rip them off immediately to help you reduce your wanted level. You will easily spot them on the minimap too, and also on the sides of walls and such, so always keep an eye out for them if your wanted level has increased. But the higher the wanted level you let, the more difficult things become for you. So at rank 1, NPCs will start recognizing you and even call guards at your location, which can be quite annoying. But then at rank 2, guards will now more easily recognize you, and there are even archers that will start patrolling on rooftops, making it very difficult to infiltrate or navigate the city. And finally, at level 3, this is when you start getting hunted down by the Shakiria, an elite NPC that will actively be on your trail until they eventually catch up. And you also cannot assassinate them and are much more difficult to fight with than any other guard, so you do have to be on your toes with this one. Especially in terms of parrying, they can do some very fast attacks, but also pay attention because they can use tools like healing, but even throwing daggers. However, if you do manage to take one down, it automatically clears your entire wanted level, so it can be worth it to hunt them down too. At number 7, of course, this wouldn't be an Assassin's Creed game without Synchronization Towers. This isn't the biggest AC game in recent years, but it still is a very large city with a lot of wilderness around it. So you will want to fast travel at certain points to make things a lot easier. So always try to focus on the Synchronization Towers. And also pay attention to the small rooms inside of them, like 9 times out of 10, you will have extra caches of loot inside that you can collect for some extra resources and loot. But hunting for the gear chests, mysterious artifacts, and other collectibles around the city is something that you will eventually want, as this gives you a lot of new and powerful armors, weapons, and other cool things. So the best way to spot them is to just sit at the top of any tower and also call upon Enkidu. This already reveals many of the yellow markers on its own that you can easily then target if you want to grab some nice loot on the way. Every district, including the wilderness around Baghdad, also has a lot of collectibles to find, and it can become quite difficult to spot the last remaining one, especially if you are a completionist. But later on, you can also have the Cartographer NPC unlocked that you can find right here in the middle upper ring of the city. So he sells maps to undiscovered treasures, be it gear chests, lost books, and so on, broken down for each specific region. For me, it got super difficult to find the very last few treasures as I was approaching like the max completion, and this was a quality of life feature that really helped me out a ton with that. But speaking of finding gear chests, while a few of them unlock completely new suits of armor or weapons, even more of them contain upgrade schematics to these specific armors and weapons. And every single one of them, with no exception except maybe one, will need 3 schematics if you want to fully upgrade them to max. So you can do so at any blacksmith if you want to upgrade an armor piece, or weaponsmith for weapons, but it's worth it as the bonuses on that gear can increase by up to 100% by the 3rd and max level. It does require a bit of resources, but like I told you, if you just complete side missions and steal from NPCs, you should have thousands of crafting mats easily by even like the first few hours. Also, don't skip out on the tools, especially the throwing dagger, smoke bomb, and the blowing dart. You will need extra tool capacity from the skill tree, which you can easily unlock, but definitely then go and unlock these at the Hidden Ones hideout once these slots are available. Every single one of them have 3 levels of upgrades with multiple choices giving you different bonus effects. Like for example, having the throwing daggers also poison the enemies, but also dissolving their bodies, making it easier to sneak around without alerting anybody. I also really enjoyed the smoke bomb. It gives you the perfect opportunity to assassinate an entire group of enemies, especially the ones that are already alerted. Plus, you can upgrade this to even set enemies on fire or provide a healing over time effect to you. Eventually, there will be perks like the Engineer that will let you select 2 tier 1 upgrades for each available tool, which will make them super OP, so it's definitely worth it. And speaking of skills and unlocking more, yeah, don't skip out on the Tales of Baghdad mini quests. They can be found 1 or 2 in almost every district and will involve their own side stories, but are super worth it as they almost always give you extra skill points at the end. There's no XP in this game, but rather skill points that are given to you from specific actions, including the main story, but also some of this side content too. So these tales are usually much quicker even compared to contracts, and at the end of them you'll get that nice extra skill point or 2 to invest into your skill tree and unlock even better powers. Of course, more videos coming soon on AC Mirage. You can also check this other video I posted with the best early on gear, including armors and weapons you should definitely get, including one that is extremely strong and provides a unique power. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.